Hey, and welcome to a special edition of Soaring Prophets Live, where Pat and I are happy to announce we have a new team member to our Five to Thrive group. We know that you all know about our Five to Thrive race. We have partnered with Be Daring in the United States, who are running a 5K virtual run walk, where you get to join us, videotape yourself running, and get some great gifts along the way. It's going to be a huge event. And we're very excited to announce the next step in our venture, because we found a wonderful charity in Canada that is all about mental health and all about promoting mental health, which is what Be Daring and Five to Thrive is all about. Pat, why don't you explain a little bit about our next step?
Organization that he represents is the Mood Disorder Society of Canada, and we're thrilled to have him. Ken, why don't you pop up there, pal? Say hi to the folks.
G'day. Thanks for having me.
So, Ken, can you tell us a little bit about the Mood Disorder Society of Canada, what you folks do, and why the work you do is so important, and obviously why people need to get their running shoes on and support such a great cause with Be Daring and the financial contributions that are going to be coming home to Canada here?
Well, essentially, Mood Disorder Society of Canada is a national nonprofit charity. We're committed to ensuring that the voices of persons impacted by mental illness, their family members, caregivers, are heard on issues relating to mental health and mental illness, and in particular concerning to depression, bipolar illness, and associated mood disorders. But mood disorders has evolved into one of Canada's best connected mental health NGOs and sustained partnerships throughout the years with private, public, and nonprofit sectors throughout Canada. We're here to do as much as we can to improve the lives of those impacted by mental illness, and there's a bunch of different programs that we do in order to accomplish that. But that's just kind of the basics of who we are.
So I understand like the macro of that, but can you tell us maybe two things that you're doing? Like there is the group that does the races themselves in Canada, and there's some other groups that are like, you just handed out a check, in fact, to a on the ground in Canada organization. So maybe fill that in a little bit.
Sure. Hey, you're asking me to pick a couple of my favorite programs, and that's hard. It's like telling you to pick your favorite children. You know, you're not allowed to do that. So
just pick at random. They're not your favorites.
There you go. Yeah, the program you're talking about is our Defeat Depression campaign, and that's an annual fundraising campaign that we hold across Canada, and we raise money in support of community mental health. You just recently, I was up in Sudbury, bringing them a check for $50,000 in support of the Northern Initiative for Social Action, which is a mental health agency in Sudbury. So I love doing that. I love that work. Individuals can go to defeatdepression.ca, and next May we'll be having our walks and runs across Canada. So if you want to check it out, by all means. We have lots of other programs, but you know, when we talk about community mental health, one of the things that's really important to us is our advocacy work that we do, right? Because sometimes mental illness it's true that we're beginning to talk about it, but there's still a lot of work to do. There's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of policies that are in place to make things harder for those with mental illness. So we're constantly working at the federal level in order to change things. And one of those things is supporting community mental health organizations, because those guys have had the brunt of the impact of COVID-19. People couldn't get in to see a doctor, so they went to their community mental health organizations, and they didn't get the funding or support that they needed during that time. So they're struggling. And not only that, but there's a big problem with getting access to treatment as well. Everything from psychotherapy to medications. There's a lot of things that make it difficult, where people tend to put it on a different scale than physical health, when it shouldn't be. There should be no difference between physical health and mental health, and they go hand in hand, right? You can't have one without the other. And so they need to be treated equally and fairly. You should be able to get the same treatment, the same medications as any other illness.
Now, how is the dollars coming back to you folks through the Be Daring Foundation? We've partnered with these guys. and we're able to do it through our QR code that we'll have thrown up here. But that money is coming back to Canada. This is an American organization, but it's coming back here and putting checks in people's hands in Canada, like that $50,000 you just did. Now, how much do we know? How much money is coming back, or is it just a portion of? Or
well, we don't. We haven't really developed a formula, but it's from what I understand right now. It should be the full amount that's being being raised minus the cost and expenses of raising an event. We know as well as anybody that holding the event is expensive, and there's lots of things involved. So I don't expect 100%, but I would say that when you make a donation in support of Soaring Prophets and you guys, that it's going, the majority of the money that's being raised will come back to Mood Disorder Society of Canada and help support mental health in Canada.
That is incredible. You know what, Ken? When we set about looking for a Canadian nonprofit to distribute this great money that we're trying to do from Be Daring, from this great, wonderful event that they're planning, yours was the first to pop up because of all the wonderful work you've done in Canada. I really appreciate the fact that you're helping on a federal level change laws to make 100%. It's one thing that I always say on Soaring Prophets, that we need to start treating mental health like we treat a broken leg. It's absolutely important, because when someone comes and says, I'm suffering from mental health, our first response should not be to pull away. It should be to embrace and form a community. And you're doing that. And I love that about your organization. And I'm looking forward to this partnership and a partnership into the future, hoping to make this event grow and get bigger. And you want November 4th, you want to raise money for mental health and join a great team of Soaring Prophets. Soon as we're done this video, there'll be a big QR code. You scan that and you get to our site and put those dollars back in Canada to really help people with mental health and the stigma, work on laws, and bring checks to local communities that are really on the ground level helping. I love you all, Profiteers. Thanks for coming. Let's